Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Abdullah?
Wassalam, how are you, sir? I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Start with the great name of Allah. Data models. A data model is a model based on object-oriented programming, associating methods means procedures with objects that can benefit from class hierarchies. Thus, objects are levels of abstraction that include attributes and behavior. Let me tell you first about inductive content. Basically, we are talking about LO2, and you are going to attempt your assignment as well with some practical knowledge, right? Okay. LO2 says after attempting LO2 completely, you will be able, inshallah, to develop and design a computer program completely. How you are going to design your computer program and how you are going to develop it is totally up to you. Okay, we have inductive contents, means we have some concepts about data models, conceptual modeling, algo, pseudocode, and structuring a simple program. Data model is clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right. Conceptual modeling. Basically, the conceptual modeling is the concept of data modeling. Conceptualization of data model in OOP is called conceptual modeling. Professionally, conceptual modeling of any program develops in UML, Unified Modeling Language. This language is only acceptable and readable by professionals because in this language you are going to design your structure of program, and in algorithm you are going to develop your design. Whatever the design you have made in conceptualization of modeling, you are going to develop it by algorithm or by pseudocode. Algorithm: step by step procedure to write any program is called algo or algorithm. Here we have example of algorithm. Here we have algo: start, read, on. If we are performing a calculation of volume, then we have to implement formula, and then we have to display the results and then stop. This is how algorithm works. Flowchart. In flowchart, you are going to demonstrate what you are going to do with algorithm step by step with some pictures or visual data that is present in UML. And how you are going to describe your program, it's totally up to you. Pseudocode: step-by-step procedure to write any program in high-level unexecutable language is called pseudocode. High-level language, just like here we can see the language there in which we have written a step-by-step procedure to write any program in high-level and executable language is called pseudocode. This is high-level language and this is unexecutable by the system or compiler. Pseudocode example. Here we have pseudocode, and we have a good and bad approach for writing pseudocode. Pseudocode is actually same as algorithm, but the main difference is by the help of pseudocode we can develop algorithm, but from algorithm we cannot develop pseudocode. Pseudocode is developed prior to the conceptual modeling of your algorithm. Okay, let's start now our practical work. All right, source file. Source file means we are going to write our source code. This compiler is Dev C++ by bloodshed. I think we have discussed it, right, Mohammed?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. This is Dev C++ by bloodshed. Okay, you are going to install this compiler onto your machines. Now we are going to write our simple structuring of program. Okay, all right. Hash include IOStream. All right. Hash include conio.h. Basically, these two commands are our header files that are going to deal with the commands that is going to use in our daily life program. And here we are going to include our library. This is called standard namespace library using namespace std. After that, we are going to write our main source code of the program. Int main, here we are defining the return time of main function is in. You can also leave it blank, or you can also write it as a void. Okay. For example, if we are going to write a simple structure program, then it will be a hello world program, right? Okay, cout here. Cout means we are going to display something that is written inside this code. Hello world. If we put backslash n, it means we are going onto new line, means a space of new line. Also, we can do this the same if we use end l, means end line here. This command and cout backslash n is same and produces same result. These two commands produce the same effect in the entire code, means a space of one line. Okay, this is our simple structure of a program. Here we have header files. For commenting any line, you have to make forward slashes, two forward slashes, and you can make it a comment. Comment. These above are header files. This is our standard library. Now our main source code will be written inside main. If you feel any query in the code, then you can ask kindly, because you are going to deploy your code by yourself. Okay,
Okay, sir.
thank you. Okay, now we are going to discuss our commands that we are going to use in our code frequently. For example, let's talk about loops. Cout, we are talking about loops. If you put end else after the cout or any command, then it will again make it a space. First of all, first we are going to talk about for loop. For loop int I less than or equals to 10 I plus plus. Inside for loop, you can write whatever you want, but the syntax will be the same. You can write whatever the variable that you want into your code. For example, if I want to write int a, then I can also write it. If I want to write multiple variables with same data type, then I will write it with comma. Here I declared two integer type variables, okay, that we can use in our code afterward. Now, for loop says the iteration for loop is from up to the I from up to 10, where we can specify from where we can take, just give me a second, enter the start limit of variable. Cin at I. Cin means you are going to take input, and if user do some input in I, it will store in it with integer type. And only integer type data can store inside I, because integer, it is only integer type data type that is related with I, and we can use I into our code according to our need. Here we are going to deploy I for initialization of for loop. Now we have to specify from where to where, from 0 to 9. Cout iteration for loop for loop is the value of I and then endl, and cout backslash n. Now for execution of any code, we are going to hit this compile and run or F11. It will ask from us to save it for first execution. Let us give a hello world name with save type CPP, means C++ code. It will give us an output screen that will show whatever we have written in here in our code with cout command. Here we have do here we have done cout, and we are talking about loops. This line has been printed. Then we have output command. Enter the start limit of variable from 0 to 9. If I put 5, it start printing its loop. Is it good?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, let's talk about nested for loop. Here we amended nested for, let's take it j, int j, j less than or equals to whatever the speed and whatever the iteration limit that we want. For example, 10, then j, sorry, j plus plus. We can also write j minus minus, and this operator is called incremented operator. And if we write j minus minus, then it will call as decrement operator. Then in the body of for loop, we will write again another for loop. Let's take it I, int I less than or equals to our limit, and I plus plus or minus minus. And then the body code of second for loop. Second or child for loop code. Here we can see that this is code for parent for loop, because this for loop is written in the body code of parent for loop. This is why we are going to we are going to write code here, and also we are able to write code after first or parent loop. Okay, for example, if we talk about while loop, then we have to specify condition here. Condition, condition, and then we are going to write code for while loop. This is how our while loop syntax will look like. Similarly, if we talk about do while, then this condition will be in the last of this while loop, and this is how the do while will look like. Code for do while loop, and here we will put our conditions. Let's talk about some example. Okay, for example, for loop int I less than equals to 255 I plus plus for int j int j j less than equals to 255 j plus plus, and then in the body of second means child for we are going to deploy another for. This is the example of nested for loop and k less than equals to 255 k plus k out k for this, k out I for this, k out j k. So this is how you are going to print your IP addresses. Okay, but we have some little modification in the code. Let us take P out enter any number from 1 to 10. Cin Cin at I, then we are going to show iteration done. The value of I and L. Here we have done some error, and the error is get displayed in the compiler. It says we are missing terminator, and now we are going to execute our code. 1 iteration done at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 10. Similarly, we can write any type of code inside our for loop for any type of display with some iteration. Using name space std. Okay, now we are going to discuss some calculator type code that is going to use in your uh, activity. I think so, right? According to your activity, you have to develop a calculator, right, that can solve any mathematical problems of 10 to 15 years child. I think so, right? We we are going to make a calculator type simple code with classes, means inheritance. Inheritance. And okay, for before that, we are going to deploy our classes. Class, make it simple, or you can rename it according to your requirement or according to your need. Protected. Okay, in inheritance, we are going to discuss. We have a chat message. All right. We have assignment of computer program. Okay. In activity 2, following your report, your line manager has asked you to design a computer program to solve maths problem for children 10 to 13 years of age. The program should include questions to answer and an appropriate interface. You have to produce a plan of program which explains the language construct which are to be used within the program, a design for the computer program which meets the client brief using flow design or algorithm and pseudocode. That's why I asked you about algorithm. We are going to develop algo and pseudocode of our code with UML. Before that, we have to cover our scenario. We are currently working for a computer software company and have been assigned a project to design and develop a computer program to help school children with maths problems. You have been asked to come up with an innovative and creative program which will allow children to solve different maths problems. This is the scenario, and we are going to develop a program. So, we are going to develop our program according to the scenario. Activity 1, I think it is done, right? Now we are going
Yes, sir.
now we are going to design our computer program. Okay, I am giving you some overview how you are going to design your computer program by some modular means with the help of OOP, class inheritance. Okay, in classes, we are going to deal with three types of, first, just give me a second. Three types of access specifiers. And the third one is, first one is private. In private access specifier, Your parent class objects are accessible into only parent class. In protected class specifier, okay, in protected class specifier, your objects are accessible within the class and some public originated child class and public specifier give us the access of global object access, or you can say instance access within and outside of the class. Okay, that's why we are going to deploy our instances in private or protected so that they cannot get recovered if someone else try to hack our program or rewrite our program. And we are going to deploy our functions in the public specifier because we are going to deal with some functions call. If you want to learn more about SS specifiers, then you can also do it with geeks4geeks.com. Now, start protected int A or B and public. Now in public, we are going to cover our functions. Publicly, we are deploying, for example, constructor. Okay, let me tell you about constructor first. A equals B equals 0 terminate. Okay, this is our constructor. Okay, basically, we are using constructor for initialization of our instances without garbage value. In this way, our instances get activated by getting some dummy value, and after that we can store any value into our instances. If we are not doing so, then add initialization of our instances. Our instances can get and store some garbage value from the memory. That's why I initialize constructor with the same name of class, and constructor is activated itself whenever class instance or the object of class has been created. For example, if I talk about in main, then we can write here,
So, can I ask you something?
yes,
So you said just now garbage value and instances. What is this? I didn't get it. What are these things? Can you define them?
yes, sure. Basically, whenever, for example, let me give you an example. For example, if I write int a, int I, and then just terminate it, and whenever I call or whenever I declared it with some instances or whenever I pass I with some instances, then it will automatically detect some garbage value from the memory. But it is only for little time. Whenever we or compiler try to store some real-time value from the user, then that value will override the garbage value and get stored into I or whatever your object or the variable is. Okay. Basically, garbage value is a random value that will be stored into variable by any time in when you are doing OOP. Okay, object-oriented programming means inheritance. Okay, is it good?
Okay, sir.
Okay, we have another class that is child class that is used for our complex calculations. Okay, we are going to deploy our complex class means our child class that is going to deal with our operations, and it is publicly originated from the parent class that is simple. Sorry, public simple. Publicly void. And now we are going to deploy our addition function. If our a is less than or equals to 0, okay, this operator, this operator is known as OR operator. Basically, according to this operator, whatever the condition that is written on the left hand side or on the right hand side, if any of the condition gets true, then it will execute the body code that is related to that condition. B less than equals to 0. Here I write if A or B less than or equals to 0, then we cannot add C out. We cannot add any value, or you can write any message according to yourself, and else, and then terminated. And after the if body code, we have to write else. Now we are going to cover if else condition. Else we are writing something, for example, whatever. Let me remember. Remember about it. Okay, and after that, let us check about void subtraction, subtraction, and after that, we are going to check the same condition. If both variables are 0 or equals to 0, then we cannot subtract these values. Same is the condition here. Save it. If we are talking about the after subtraction, we are talking about multiplication. Then same code will be executed here. Why? If our both values are 0 or less than 0, then we cannot multiply it. Because we are developing a simple calculator, that's why we cannot make it happen. But you have to design calculator either positive natural number or negative natural number. Void division, the same condition. After that, we are going to put, yes, we are going to put terminator at the end of our child. This is our child class. Complex is our child class that is originated from simple class with public specified. Now, in main, we are going to deploy our complex instance. Now we are going to deploy our instance or object of our child class. Our child class was complex. Now we can assign any name to that variable. We can write C as an object and then terminate. We can write obj as an object or whatever that we want. But this object will check whenever we call function, either the function is in public specified, protected specified, or private specified. Now, how we are going to check it? It check obj dot add and call of function. Similarly, we are going to write obj that dot multiply of function, then terminate it. Similarly, obj dot subtraction and then termination. Obj dot division and then termination. Now, check this. We are going to check these functions with instance or object of child class. Okay, but first we have to add something and we have to do subtraction, we have to do multiplication, we have to do division. Before that, we need two variables values obj dot int, right? Okay, now we are in parent class. Here we have done our constructor. Now we have to write our function. We have to write our function according to our input. Same is the case in, and then we are going to write input function. See out, then enter any vari variable greater than 0, and then we are going to terminate it. After that, we are going to take C in means input. Scenes take input at A, and this A is here get declared with integer type in protected as specified. So whatever the data that is present inside A will not get accessed by any other coder outside of the app or software or the code. Now we are going to write slash n enter any enter second variable for addition but greater than 0. Now we are going to take C in at B. It is also declared with integer data type in protected as specified. Okay. Now we are going to write a void add function that is going to add our variables. See out a sorry a plus b equals to a plus b. Now it is simple calculation. Here we can check at the time of giving output, we are adding two variables at the same time. Similarly, at at subtraction, we are going to copy and paste it with subtraction, subtraction, but here we are going to write with negative sign. Same is the result, but with negative sign. For multiplication, we are going to write multiplication, mul, mul, and we are going to give a multiplication sign. We can write x, and here we are going to multiply with sign of stereo. At the same time, we are going to write code for division, div, and how this happens. And at the end of class, we are going to write terminator. And from where these all functions are getting called from here in the else section. In the else section, we are going to call our functions with class, and now we are going to specify which function we are going to deploy in the child class with public specifier. Where here we can see that we are dealing with add, so we are going to add add function with simple class. Similarly, at this will be get copied and write. We have to write here, and then we are going to access it. Here we can check all functions are getting access with public specifier, subtract, and then terminate. In the multiplication, we are going to write it in simple class, public specifiers. Now we are going to deploy our division, then terminate it. And we are going to access with simple specifier. Let us check if this code is good to go. Okay. It says enter any value greater than 0. Let us check 10. Then it will ask again enter second variable for addition but greater than 0. Let us check 5. Now this code put up a calculative values. Let us check is it good or not. A plus B will give us 15. 10 plus 5 give us 15. A multiply B give us 50, right? 5 multiply 10 gives us 50. A minus B gives us 5. Is it good, Umar?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the division, it is also good because it gives us the expected results that we want. So this is how we are going to develop our calculator. And this code is simple and this is how you can structure your code. Now let us discuss the structure of our code. Okay.
Sir,
Up to here,
I have one.
yes, please
Sir,
ask.
this is like the real code, right? Real code for the program. But can you explain to us how will we create the pseudocode like before this, so it will be easy for us, like the pseudocode.
Yes, sure. Basically, you have to analyze your problem. Your problem or the scenario was you have to develop a calculator for the age of 10 to 13 years old child, right? For the math problem.
Yes, sir, right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I made the structure at first because it is in front of you. At first, we have done header files, then standard library, then simple class, and then complex class, and then our in main code. Here we just have done function calling by instances. We use child class instance or object to access any type of function within the class or within the parent class. We access in add, multiply, subtract, and division functions from main into child class. And here we have defined our functions. But we have checked that if value is equals to 0 or less than 0, then we are not able to control the flow of program. That's why I put a if condition with or operator that either any value that is less than 0 or equals to 0 will affect our structure and code of program. And after that, I write child class structure. It is publicly originated. Okay, let me give you a tip. And tip is, for example, if I just remove this public then this class will be automatically declared as a private access specified. We cannot access this add from main function, okay, because this class is now public access accessible by public specifier. But if you do not put any protected or public access specifier, then it will automatically take it as a private class. Okay, and private class don't let anyone access its members or member functions, data members or member functions. Basically, these functions are called the functions that is present in the public SSFI. These are called member functions, and that is present in the protected or the private class, or sorry, private access specifier. These are called data members because they hold some data within it. Okay, then I made the structure of parent class. Okay, and after that I made the structure for child class. But when I was doing structuring of our parent class, I just made the constructor and further move on in the child class and completely structured and deployed its code. After that, I will move on in the parent simple class with public accessifier. Okay. This is how you are going to structure your program. And one more thing, Mohammed, you have to try make it in multiple files. Here we have done all the all the functional programming in one file that is in hello world, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Try to make it in multiple files. For example, if we want to do addition, then addition function can be or may be in another file that will be named as addition function or add. Okay, this will act as a modular programming, but here we have done functional. If you can do right this thing, then it is up to the mark. Okay, it is also called as object oriented paradigm or object oriented approach of doing calculator. This calculator code structure is simple.
So,
Okay. Yes, you wanna ask something?
sir,
Then you can ask.
yes, sir. So you said there is like four functions: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now we have to create four separate files for each of them, right?
Yes, four separate files for four separate functions. One will be the header file. Second will be the main source code file, this main file. And other four are the different files. Means totally I think it will be 6 or 7 files. You just have to write header files, then source code, then all four different modular codes. If you cannot do it, then it's okay. This type of code will be acceptable. Okay.
Okay, sir.
If you have any query
Okay,
in
sir.
this
I have.
code, yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can you go down the last main function?
yes, just give me. Okay.
Yes, sir. Before the main function, why did you put the semicolon? Like, why did you terminate it before the main function?
Because according to the syntax in OOP with C++, we have to declare all classes. Okay, this terminator sign says each and everything that coder knows or the programmer knows that is better inside the class is declared. Okay, this means this command is get declared. This command is declared in the main. Now you can check. Complex object is declared. Now nothing will come in front of obj. This command is complete and it is declared. Line 86 is complete and declared. Okay. Here we can check in the protected specifiers. We have declared two integer type variables. Actually, terminator says this command is declared. Any query in the code?
Okay, sir. When we run the code, first of all, how do we run this code? Where is the button for running? I don't know this one in
This
this
is,
program.
can you see my cursor?
Yes, yes.
This button will automatically compile and execute the source code and produce a display screen over it. Okay, now here we have. Okay, okay,
Okay, sir.
okay.
Okay, sir. The last question I have is when you run the code after compiling, does it start from the beginning of the code or it starts from the main function, which is down?
It starts from the main function. In C++, dev C++ compiler generally starts reading code from main function. Compiler do not know anything that is written above or outside the main function. Whatever you write outside the main function, compiler do not know about anything about it. Okay? Compiler just
Okay.
read and execute according to the commands. For example, here we have written, programmer written complex obj. Okay, complex obj. So the class object has been created. For example, here if we put just like complex complex and the code of this one, if we put up, sorry, where we have lost. Okay, for example, if we write this and make it complex, then it will also be good. Okay, it means whatever the object or the instance of class get created, automatically the constructor will be created. Okay, if we are talking about constructor, if we write the same code with negation sign, and the negation sign is this. Okay, if we write this is constructor. Okay, and this is known as destructor. Okay, this is known as constructor, this is known as destructor because it will destroy all the values that is present inside the construction of program. It will all destroy when leaving the program done. Okay, whenever this program executes completely, the destructor destroys the constructor, and ultimately our memory will get free, that is get occupied by the constructor. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, in this lecture we have covered if else, nested loops, functional programming, function calling. Okay, from here we are calling functions. We are done with inheritance, means object oriented programming.